Okay, this is the new upgraded Pro XP Wolfsnout Cool Cab Tunnel Insulation Kit. This addresses all the heat that comes through and gets in your console, comes out at your shifter and makes you miserable. It's closed off at the back as well because a lot of hot air blows into the back. If you were to leave this back piece out, you would still have hot air blowing in on your cups and on out through your shifter and through all the other cracks in the sides and all. So we close the back off as well with this kit. The only difference on this one is you'll take these two 10mm bolts out right here, and you will do that carefully with a 1/4" drive ratchet, a small ratchet with a 10mm, and you'll just do it small strokes at a time. You don't want to mess up and hit in the wires and yank on the wires while you're taking them off. It's 2 bolts, just be patient, take them out, lift it up, and the new part will slide right under it, and it stays on top, and then it's going to make a transition down here into the front part of it. It's a lot easier to install this way, so that's why we're changing it. If you have the Pro XP Ultimate model, you'll notice there's a cutout for the hole in the rubber only. So you'll need to take a pair of scissors and slice from the side of the mat to the hole in the rubber, and then you'll need to take a pair of scissors and trim out that little bit of foam. Then you'll need to take the 4 bolts that hold the module onto the front of the shifter tower, remove those 4 bolts, lay it over to the side, and then install as normal. Then when you put it back up, screw it back to the shifter tower. Only 10 foot-pounds of torque. Only torque it to 10 foot-pounds. Okay, now that we've removed the console, we're going to remove the 2 bolts that hold the shifter tower in place using a 13mm wrench and a 13mm socket in from this angle. We're going to remove the 2 10mm bolts that hold this fuse box down with a 10mm on a 1/4" ratchet. There's 2 screws, just undo them. You can lift it up and the new part is going to slide right under it. Then after you do that, you'll want to take and get a couple of screws started. Sometimes it's better to go ahead and buy yourself some longer screws for this. It does make it a lot easier and a lot less frustrating. But put yourself one all the way up at the top, one at the front and one in the back, and you'll do the same on the other side. Okay, so the long piece that comes with it, a piece of 1" foam. You're gonna pull it around the wiring harnesses. Pull all the way through, make sure you get underneath the one that goes to your accent lights. Pull it all the way up, high as you can get it, all the way to the top. And then you're gonna make these 2 ends meet like this. And now we're just gonna put a piece of Gorilla Tape across there to hold them. And you just wanna butt these pieces end to end, and then put this piece on, fold it around them. You can roll that around the side or the bottom, wherever you want, and just make sure it's pushed all the way up at the top. Pull all the way out, let it fan out, kind of like that to the side. And we can put that front cap. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get these 2 peel and stick started so we don't have to struggle with them once we get it in place. So I already peeled the other side. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this hole right here, and that screw that you put in earlier, you're just gonna slip it over that screw. That lets you know you're in the right place, okay? And then you'll just push it in and stick it. Okay? Then, to make things a little easier, you're gonna take a few little pieces of Gorilla Tape. I'm using white so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So you wanna put you a little stick piece there. That's just gonna hold temporary. That's to make dang sure that you don't pull it loose and end up aggravated with it. Probably won't come loose, but just in case, we're gonna put that on it. Then you're gonna line this hole up on this other screw hole. You're gonna push that little tab through, and you're gonna push that little tab through. You'll probably have to re-push them on there before you put the cover over. Now we're gonna peel and stick this other back side. And we're gonna pull it nice and snug around right along that line. You want to get right along the seam. Okay. We're going to stick that down. We're going to pull this little piece at the corner. We're going to pull to the inside right there. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and put a couple of pieces of tape on it just to make sure it stays put for now. I usually just put one on this one because if it's stuck. Okay, then we're going to put the main piece in. Second piece is the large long piece. The curved end goes to the front. The part with the notch in it faces to the back. So what we'll do is we'll roll it to the front. We'll pull it over here into place. And then we'll fold these two pieces in. And then we'll slide it under the shifter tower. We'll reach through this other side. Pull it all the way through. And you'll see you've got these wires over on this side. There's a slot for them. So you want to get it pulled into that slot. Okay, now. Okay, now you'll pull this, the rubber tab, you'll pull it up to the top. So it's going to actually come from underneath the front over onto the top. Don't stick it just yet. We'll fit it over the screws. Pull the rubber nice and tight, pull it down to the floor and stick it. Again, you want to be on top right here. You don't want to be down here. You'll have a big air gap there if you do. So we're going to stick it down. Same with this little front. You'll line up with that front screw hole and stick it on. After this main section is in, you're going to peel the sticky tape, line this hole up first, stick it down, stick it all the way down. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. It's already peeled. So I will line that hole, pull it snug. Okay, after I've mended this where the wires are, I'm gonna bring this, I'm gonna transition it up to the top. And I'm gonna fold a little piece of tape in half, and I'm gonna pull this up on an angle, and I'm gonna stick it down to the rubber first. Okay, once you get that piece in, you want to push up on the bottom. You want to stick a piece of Gorilla Tape right under the bottom of the frame onto the pad right there. Okay, we're gonna bend another piece for this side just the same, right here. Okay, I like to double this piece, pull it around there, and then I'll kind of put a tear in it, pull part of it around, and let part of it be stuck past right here. In a minute, I'm gonna wrap a piece of tape around that bottom piece and these two side pieces. Okay, after we get these two sides taped, we want to run this one piece around both of them and around that bottom one to make sure. Just a little extra help there for them. Make sure they can't never pull loose. I'll even stick a little strip down this front right here to make sure those stay put. Now we're going to put the back part in. It's the slot faces the front, two big holes face the back. This goes around your wire harness. This goes around the little wire harness in the back. It's best if you just unhook that holder clip. It's not going to hurt anything. It just makes this a lot easier. Now that this is unattached, we're just going to simply slide it under, get it around that wire harness. Okay, now that we got it in place, we're going to peel and stick it aligned with the screw holes. Once it's peeled, you want to start with the first hole right here. Make sure it's lined up. Second hole's lined up. Third hole's lined up. Okay, then we'll do the same thing on this side. We'll peel and stick and get those holes lined up. And then you're going to stick the back down. Okay, now after you get that stuck, you're going to take a piece of Gorilla Tape, the full length of it. You're going to put it on here all the way down. Okay, so now we're going to mend the back to the front. We're going to get a piece started, push it all the way down right there, and it's going to transition down. And another piece back here in this corner. Then one more piece back in this back corner. Same thing on this side. You'll tape that down. Okay, once you have those two mended together, you want to do the same thing up that crack again. Up the angle, you want to fold a piece in half and get it down in that angle. And that mends the two together completely. You'll do the same thing on this side. Okay, now we'll put one piece across the top. One more little piece against the shifter. One more little piece on the bracket right there. We'll tape real good around these wires that are coming out, little piece at a time. I'm going to take about 5 or 6 pieces, and I'm going to keep going around with little small thin ones, one little short piece at a time, until I make it all the way around. Okay. I'm going to just put a strip all the way across to everything right here. Just for a little extra hold there. Okay, now we'll do the same thing to the other side, and then we're ready to do the front. Okay, now we're going to put some small strips around this other wire harness, just like we did up front. Just a little piece at a time, all the way around. Better you seal it, better it's going to work. Okay, now you're going to take this piece of foam and you're going to peel it, and you're going to stick it across the back, and that back part is going to seal down onto it. You will still have a little bit on each corner. You might want to put a little bit of silicone on it after you're done. Okay, so there's a little bit of space right here under the shifter, in between the shifter right here. We're going to get this piece of foam, and we're just going to push it all the way to the front and all the way underneath. It's only like that on the driver's side. We're going to plug that little hole off. So we're ready to put the console back together. Notice it transitions from the top to down under the shifter. Comes out in the front. Now you'll remove the little buddy screws that you put there, little helper screws. You'll remove those two, the one up top, same thing on the other side, and reinstall the console. Enjoy. I'd also like to add, there's a large crack all the way down this back right here, and all the way down inside here, all the way around. You'll want to take some Gorilla Tape and seal the frame you'll want to seal the frame to the plastic all the way down. If you look, you can see light through there, so a lot of hot air blows in through that under your seat. It also comes out around this plastic at the bottom and also on both sides. So you'll want to take some Gorilla Tape and tape all that off all the way around the inside. Okay, first thing we're going to take, and we're going to lay this piece facing down with the hole to your left. And we're going to start a piece of Gorilla Tape halfway, half and half on the top right there. Then we're going to place the top into the back panel. We're going to tape it off there. Then we're going to bend it to the shape. And we're going to tape it there. And this side, we're going to bend it to the shape of the back panel as well. Make sure we get it all the way down. Piece didn't do like I wanted it to. All right, once we get that taped into place, we're going to flip it over, and that's how it's going to look. And we're going to flip it around, and we're going to put 3 on the other side. You won't really even see these screws down in there once. Screws in it, you're going to come with some 100% silicone. You're going to run a nice thick bead all the way down. Both sides and the top. Now you can let that dry, or you could go ahead and put it in now. I guess if you wanted to, it would stay in place. This is just to make dang sure that it never fails on you. Then when this seats down, this is going to seat on top of that piece of foam, and this is going to fit around your shifter cable. And then if there's any crack there, we'll silicone that around this and across the bottom.